What role did incentives have in supporting this longer term mindset
Yeah,
that was
I'm.
characteristic of the environment?
I'm probably someone who's massive on incentive. I had the pleasure of being on stage at a large finance event, and anybody who's worked in finance always talks about bonuses, and the amount of energy and effort goes into managing bonus schemes, the KPIs, all of the organizational effort, and let's say and just the emotion that goes into managing bonus schemes. It's a huge tax on the organization and normally a burden on finance teams. So I remember sitting on stage saying, fundamentally, I don't like bonus schemes because if you're trying to get people aligned around put the organization first and think long term, then you incentivize the individual on short term deliverables and cash. How does that play into getting people? How does that align them to this think long term, build the company first? It just does. It's just a misalignment. And so I did ask the question on this stage, which were to the finance community all kind of agreed with these statements, which was great. So my follow-up question is, then how many of you guys have a bonus? And the majority of the hands in the room went up. It's like, so if you agree with the principle, then I would urge you all to go into the office tomorrow and say, I don't want my bonus. Because now you're saying you've got to believe that this doesn't work, then you have to take a stance. I said, and I guarantee, like you guys, everyone feel free to send me an email. For all of you guys that walk in tomorrow and say, I do not want my bonus, you can find a different way of compensating me, but this bonus structure doesn't work for me. It's not aligned to the organization. I don't think it fits with the right values. And you say I didn't get one email. And that's the challenge, right? Is that yes, fundamentally I believe this stuff, but actually I'm not willing to act on it. Because in the end, actually, we get into this selfish that I'm better because I want my cash, and I'm not willing to change the organization and and really fight for it and say I don't want this. And so, long story around the Amazon side of having everybody who there's no bonus scheme, you're invested in the equity of the organization. And so, therefore, over the long term, the organization does well, you do well. It also then you don't get into wait a minute, so I've got my sales target or I've got my cost center. So you get out of this, it's like silo mentality. It's, well, is this better for the organization? So it actually encourages collaboration and teamwork. Just, is this the right thing for the organization? Then I'll go and do it. As opposed to, well, but if I do that, then I won't hit my bonus. And then you get into this negotiation on, well, but you've got to adjust my target down because I'm now helping this guy out. That just like is way too much energy invested in all the wrong places. And I think I've seen it in so many organizations. It's, well, I can't afford to travel because I don't have the budget. Well, is it the right thing to do? Yes. Well, why don't you just go and do it? Well, because then it's going to hit my cost center and then it's going to hit my bonus. Like that's just the worst thing. And then you hire a finance team to then move that from one cost center to another cost center. So now you're building organizational overhead to actually just do the right thing, so that you can get in this. It's just a mess.
Right.
So once you get rid of all that stuff, you save the organization a lot of overhead, and a lot of basically back and forth on decision making just becomes a lot faster and a lot more aligned. Yeah.
And I assume it's a longer term vesting schedule. How,
Yes.
with the equity compensation at Amazon, was that over a period of multiple years?
Yeah. Yeah. So and an interesting scheme in terms of obviously you're getting people over. If I look at my scenario, it's a 4 year cycle. So you've got line of sight of how your conversation will play out over a 4 year period. And yes, it goes up or down depending on the share price. But again, if you believe in the company, then you know that over the long term, likely it will go up. There'll always be moments where it's a different scenario, but over the long term, it will go up if you're doing the right thing. If you're working with your colleagues to do the right things, it will go up. And so if you start getting into that mindset, you know that, okay, fine, I'll take it as an article of faith that this is going to be successful. And you dial more compensation towards the company's success as opposed to short-term cash. And the logic's very simple, right? The more cash you take out of an organization, the less cash it's got to grow. So strangely, if you want higher equity, lower cash, then you're helping the organization to actually be more successful. So the value of your equity should go up, as long as you're taking the right decisions. And so I think having that personal vesting in the company to say, well, most of my value is actually in the success of the company, not in the cash I'm taking out from it. It's a very, very, again, it's almost more of a startup kind of mindset.